Hey, Unbothered fans, and welcome back to another episode of Basically Unbothered Recapped. Before we get into this episode, I just want to remind you all that there are spoilers that lie ahead if you continue this. In fact, there'll be spoilers in about 5 seconds if you continue listening to this. So if you do not want spoilers of Traitors, if you have not watched some of the latest episodes, don't listen, go watch them, and then come back. Let's get into the universe of recapping movies, books, TV shows, and more. Quick pause, because if you love dark stories that don't flinch, Olympic War isn't a soft love story. It's violent, it's chosen, and it costs everything. Through war, betrayal, and survival, Moonstone fights for devotion that refuses to die. This is a Black, multicultural dystopian series about power, sacrifice, and what rises from the ashes. Olympic War and Phoenix War. Read them wherever books are sold. Okay, so normally I start this and we talk about things before we get to Traitors, which is the TV show that we're all watching together. But I have not watched the second episode that released to Traitors. But I'm so upset. You guys know that I'm such a passionate person. I really am. And I feel things really strongly. And there are a lot of things that I'm not going to cry. There are a lot of things that people don't talk about that happen in this world that need to be talked about. And the way that this last Traitor episode happened and the way that Tiffany was treated was just not okay to me. And I'm really upset. I'm always upset when I see Black women be attacked like that on live TV because that's a serious, like, that is a problem. That is just a white man, Colton, feeling threatened by a Black woman and wanting to get her out. That's all that it is. Her coming up out of nowhere had no purpose other than for him because he feels threatened by her. And it's obvious that he feels threatened by her because of the way that he acted, the way that he talked to her, the way that he treated her. And it was the saddest episode to watch. And I stand by this. I hope that you guys in the interwebs give her back something. I hope that you all get her sponsorships and get her everything, especially those celebrities who sat next to her who have billions of dollars, because most of them have a crap ton of money. And she was very clear. She was like, I need this. This is really important. I need the money. And it didn't matter to them. So I hope all of those people who voted her off are now going to vote to give her a chance. Because if you are not, you're a fucking coward. That whole episode was fucking cowardly. And I don't care if I get canceled for this shit. I'm going to talk more about it, but this is why I always talk about having to be black and white spaces. And racism that people don't talk about and underlying and unintentional bias and things that people don't even realize. Everybody was swayed off of a person who was onto a person who was on nobody's radar simply because of a white man. If Eric would have said what he said before Colton did and Colton never did any of it, it would have never been a fucking problem. We're going to get into some stuff. We'll talk about that later. All right. So let's catch up, guys. It's another podcast. Oh, I'm trying to calm myself down. It's another podcast at night. If you guys can see, it's dark outside. It was snowy. We've been having a snowstorm. It was crazy. I mean, it snowed on and off, but mostly on all day yesterday, all day. And I had to drive through a lot of it. And I am so tired and I'm so exhausted. And there's so many things that, I want to do or I wanted to do that's just not happening. Also, if you notice, I'm in my comfort sweats again because it's the thing that it's too cold outside. I had Pilates today. I had to run some errands today. I got my nails fixed. Shout out to Heather. Definitely go check her out if you are in the local Michigan, local Detroit area. Heather Baker, fantastic nail artist. But it's been pretty crazy. I got to use the circle saw, and I'm so, 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 so excited, and you guys gonna be like, "Oh, I don't what do you mean a circle saw?" And yeah, I got to use the circle saw, and it felt good. It felt really good, guys, and I'm feeling good about myself getting to use it. Honestly, it was exciting, and I was working on my pallet, I have, like, a pallet bed that I'm working on, and it's like a bed frame, and I've always wanted one of these, and I got one for my job, like pallets, but then they were super long and they didn't fit the bed, and finally I got a saw so that I could cut it, and I did it all by myself. Well, my dad helped a little bit, but I was the one cutting. It was me, and it felt good. It felt like a reminder that, I'm always, always, always so hard and down on myself, and it was like a reminder that I can do hard, difficult things. And that was really nice as a reminder to know that, like, I'm capable. I'm capable of doing a lot more things than I think I am, and that's a good reminder to just have in general, to be like, "Oh, okay, I can do this." Because sometimes I don't feel like it. I mean, honestly, starting my business, being an author, it has been such a hard journey because I'm not getting the traction, I'm not getting the backing, I'm not getting the support. I am having support. In fact, I actually just launched my, street team, but not as much as I thought I was, and it hurts. It hurts to think that you're really good at something and you're not seeing the dividends of it. It hurts to be really passionate about something and not seeing the dividends of it. And I've talked about this before, but like not some of my friends not even reading my book yet. And I want to for me it's like I really want to share in that excitement with them. I really want to be able to say, "Look at this thing that I did that I'm so excited and proud about." And I don't really get to share that with a lot of people right now. People like in my physical life, and I would love to be able to share that with more people in my physical life and not just people in my digital life. I am still so grateful and thankful that there's a single person that supports me as a podcast, that supports me as an author, that supports my business, Pure Tifa. Like there's no words. I'm really grateful for that. But getting to do like make up and fix the palettes was a reaffirming for me that I'm the person that's keeping me back sometimes. I'm the one that's saying, "I can't do this," or "This isn't gonna happen," or anything like that, but the truth is that I can, and I just need to believe in myself some more. Hopping off of that though, and onto some pop culture or to some things that I've done. Let's go books. Let's go books. I did finish In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros. It was good. I gave it 5 stars. It was the second like military romance that I read, and I loved all of it. It didn't follow the tropes that are really big right now because tropes are really big in the book world. And that was, very interesting. Someone could probably say enemies to lovers, second chance, blah, 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 blah. But it just didn't feel like that. It really truly felt about like two people who shared this traumatic experience with each other and they just keep bumping into each other and fate keeps putting them into each other's laps, but they just can't figure it out. And I don't know, I really truly loved reading that book. I love the love. I love that it was built upon and that the storyline wasn't lacking because there was a really big storyline. And I love the characters. Characters this is my opinion. I am not a plot-driven person. I don't like plot-driven books. I love character-driven books because our real lives aren't plot-driven. I truly believe that there is someone up there in the universe that has certain things that are set out for us. I'm not disagreeing with that. You can still have your certain points that need to happen in a story. But we are character driven people. Our lives are not this big plot that someone's planning and we just kind of fall in line. Our lives are our choices and the choices that we make. And I feel like books that really follow the characters and the choices that the characters make benefit and are better because that's more realistic. That's what's happening in everyday life all the time. And that book definitely was character driven and not plot driven. And there were beautiful moments and just having characters that like give a shit about each other is also kind of nice sometimes. I don't know. This was It's like my first romance-ish in a while. So it was I was vibing with it. Like I said, I definitely give it 5 stars, rated highly. The twist at the end, loved. Didn't see it coming. Didn't see it coming at all. I I I read it and then I was like, "What?" And I flipped through like the beginning of the pages and I'm like, "This is insane." And it almost made me want to reread it just to see if I could pick it up. And that's what I was talking about last time when I said things about mysteries. Mysteries have to be things that are shocking, but if you look back on it, you can say, "Oh, what the like those are good true crime books, good mystery books. Those are really good." So, it's definitely going to be a recommend for me. Outside of that, I haven't really I watched Little Women. I was really not wanting to watch Little Women, not because I didn't think it would be a good movie, but because I really wanted to read the book, and then I started audiobooking it, and it was just so boring, and I could not. I could not, but I really did enjoy Little Women. I love most of the actresses that were already in Little Women. It was nice. It was nice to see it was just like a beautiful family, and there were sad moments. There's moments where I cried. I bawled my eyes out, at a specific scene that you all know. Bawled my eyes out. And there were times where I was upset, but there was something that was beautiful that was said at the end about Joe. I think it was Joe. Hold on. Sometimes, guys, believe it or not, I don't actually like write down people's names. I just enjoy watching them. I have notes on other things, but sometimes I just enjoy watching it. Yeah, Joe. There was something that I loved. There's things about Joe I didn't love. For sure. Her and May and Amy's kind of rivalry was something that I really didn't enjoy that much, especially because of the choices and everything that they made, but I get it, big sister, little sister kind of energy, that makes sense. But some of the things, you know, Joe making certain decisions and then being upset that Amy got things because she didn't make the same decisions was quite interesting. But I do understand for Joe the feeling of sacrifice for your family and the cost that comes with that. And one of the things that I loved about the end of the book or in the movie is when Joe gets the like mansion from her aunt who passed away. And I loved that when that happened, it was a reaffirming of that sometimes in life you're gonna make sacrifices. Sometimes in life, bad things are gonna happen, and sometimes you can't always win. But that doesn't mean that you're not gonna win in the end, and that doesn't mean that what you want in the end is gonna come. And so she did have to make hard decisions and she did have to make sacrifices and she sometimes maybe was the one who got the short end of the stick. But at the end of the day, she got everything that she wanted to. She did. She got to create her school, she had love, she had a book that was being published. She got to do everything that she wanted to do. It just wasn't on the same timeline. And I think that's okay. And it's a reminder that everybody exists on their own timeline and even, when she decided that she was in love with Lori all of the sudden, and then Amy comes home and they're married, it's still, some people would have read that and be like, oh, poor Joe, poor Joe. And it was never poor Joe. It just, the universe knew what was meant for her and it put her in a position to make sure that she got exactly that. So I really loved that movie. It was really a good read. I mean, a good read. It was a good watch. And that's that. Outside of that, new music, I really haven't listened to any. I've been seeing a lot of Hilary Duff. I know that that's coming out soon, so I'm excited to listen to that. It's been so long. It's been so long, and I can't wait. But getting into some pop culture stuff, we talked about how I might talk about award shows, and honestly, I don't think I am for real, guys. I don't like award shows. I really, truly do not. I just think that award shows are such a political game, and the people who deserve to win often don't win, and so we're kinda just stuck. And I hate seeing I mean, I love seeing people win who I feel like deserve to win and seeing that excitement, but at the same time, I hate seeing people who I felt like deserve to win lose. And that is kind of the sentiment that I feel about Ariana Grande and her continually being snubbed. And that's not to say that Tiana Taylor isn't a great actress. She is. I mean, I didn't see the movie that she was in. I did see her in what is the legal TV show that has Kim Kardashian, Niecy Nash, and all those amazing stars. She was okay. I didn't think that she was award winning okay, but you could tell that she's definitely coming up in her acting. But for the amount of work and effort that Ariana Grande put into becoming Galinda, and the way that her character changed, the way that how she played the character changed how many people view Galinda is something that is just for me, it's something that I think deserves an award. I think that she was fantastic. I think her facial expressions were fantastic. I think that Wicked for Good is my favorite movie now. In people deserve their flowers, and it always hurts me when people work so hard and do so much and they don't get them. So, I can't. I stopped watching award shows so long ago. Um, when Mariah Carey was getting when a lot of people were getting snubbed for awards, I really stopped watching it. I don't like the idea of getting yourself hyped up and excited and then it all just falling apart is not my idea of a fun time. In other news, MCU news, I was working and I turned my phone on because we were kind of slow and just scrolling a little bit. And then all of a sudden, I see an X and I'm just like, what? And it's Marvel's Doomsday. And then they announced that that X-Men are going to be in Doomsday. And I was like, I could die. I can't really. No, I want to live. I want to live a really long time. But how is it that some of the best things in life are still yet to come? I think like that. That's how I felt about Ariana Grande being announced for Wicked. Moving on to, I watched the 2 episodes that came out last week with my mom, and then I watched the 1 episode that came out this week. So let's talk about it. All right. So you watch the episode, the first one, you're like, who's getting ordered? Who's getting murdered? Who's getting murdered? Who's getting murdered? And I was like, okay, all right. Michael passed the test. I'm trying to see who got murdered though. Ian is gone. That's what it says. Ian is gone. And I'm calling the situation the Kituation. And it was a smart move that Ian left. It was smart to get rid of Ian because Ian won Big Brother and was on it twice. Like, I get it. And you can tell they're really coming for the gamers and they're scared. They're scared. Michael stayed. I love Michael. I'm going to keep saying this until you guys hear me. People don't like loud, aggressive people. And that's a shame because loud, aggressive people are usually people that keep it the realest with you. People who are quiet and kind of keep to themselves a lot are usually the people who are hiding things. A lot of aggressive people just say what's going on. So they sit down for what I call the kitchen. And it was interesting because at first, Tiffany comes on Colton's radar for defending Ian. And this is going back to my statement. This is like, why is someone on your radar for saying, defending someone that you know is her friend, that you know she was close to, that you know that they were on the same show? Like, okay. All right, sir. Colton is getting on my nerves. Colton gets on my nerves the more episodes that pass. He is really getting on my nerves. I thought he was going to be really cool. He's really catty. He's really manipulative. He's just not a vibe. I'm going to leave that comment to myself. But anyways, everybody comes in. Everyone's wondering. Ian is gone, and I really think it was a smart move. And I start talking about how I don't like Ron, and I want Ron to go. I stand by that. I stand by that. I don't like Ron and I want Ron to go. But then the dramatic way when Alan comes in and throws down Ian's picture is just insane. Then we get into mission 2. Mission 2 we introduce the shields, and a shield basically protects you from being murdered. So everybody wants one. This is hilarious. So the game was that 3 people sit on a throne, and everybody's broken up into 3 teams. Those teams have to push the throne from where they were all the way back up to the top of the castle, right? Okay. All the way back up to the top of the castle, but they have to make stops along the way. And if they make stops, they can find shields. And if they find shields, they can swap with whoever's on the throne because whoever's on the throne at the end, when they make it all the way up, is protected. So the people who start on the thrones are Tiffany, Candace, and Caroline. Cool. Because they made the smart decision. And I'm going to say this now because they make stupid decisions later. They made the smart decision to put lighter people on the thrones. Makes sense. When you have to carry it this far, lighter people should be on this throne because that's just going to be the best for all of you. Because on top of them finding the shields, they also have to collect gold bags. And those gold bags will help contribute to the money that they win at the end. Mora was speaking hilarious on this part. Mora is so funny and so like under like noted or whatever, but it was just keeps going. So we get to some of them, and then that's when the shields start fighting. Monet was one of the first people to not take a shield, even though he found a shield. And he said, "Oh, okay, I found a shield, but what does it look like if I dethrone these women and my butt that's heavier sits on the throne and have to have people push me up?" I was like, there was so much respect that I had for Monet in that moment. And it's something that as it continued to go wrong, it it didn't happen. So everybody's kind of upseating people, but it's pretty stable until they get to the third one. And the third one, because Steven, he just keep finding them. He just keep finding them, and he gives them away. And the third one, they get there, and Colton finds a shield. And Colton is a huge, tall football player. Like, he's not playing anymore, but he was. And I wrote that something feels really off about him sitting on a throne himself, dethroning a woman and having a woman push his big ass all the way up the rest of the way. Something just don't sit right with me. And I stand by this. You can play a game, but who you are as a person matters. And I just don't think that there are people who have that integrity in life. And I don't think that Colton is a person who has that integrity because there's life after this game. The way that people look at you, the way that people will treat you based on how you treated them, there's something after this game. You can find the traitor, you can do everything right. But at the end of the day, you could potentially be risking all of you because if they don't make it back in a certain time, you could potentially be risking all of you winning money because you're making someone push your big ass up. That being said, after that, Jam Jam decided he wanted to do it too. And that's where I really love Jam Jam. And that's where I started to really not feel him. So we're having some of the heavier set people sit on a throne and make smaller people it's just not strategic. It's just selfish and not strategic. And although you guys are working against each other, you're also working with each other. Other than that, Ron was just really bad at the game. And Michael had a point about Colton and Jam Jam, and I stand by that. But the mission ends, they succeed, they get the money, everything's good. We get to that talking about the round table, and they're having a conversation about Donna. And was kind of vibing with them. Donna seems like a good choice. Everybody was kind of talking about how she hasn't been playing the game and everything like that. And some people are like, well, we don't want to vote Donna out because of the Swifties. And I rolled my eyes because that's fucking, if your supporters are that cult like that you can't play a game because you're worried about the backlash from it, GTFO. If you're just going after her to go after her for no reason, that's different. But they had reasons. She is being a little suspicious. She is keeping things to herself. She isn't really joining the people. And the people that she's picking are the weakest links in this game. And she's making those choices. But at the end of the day, I want it run out. 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 Rob C is smart because Rob C starts picking up on stuff. But when they sit down at the round table, they get to vote to see who they think the traitor is. And Ron convinces everyone that it's Portia. And this was the first disappointing thing because everybody was on Donna in the beginning. And Ron's like, no, I think it's this person. I think it's this person. And he followed that script. And then everybody flipped it and they flipped on Portia and they vote her out. And guess what? She wasn't a traitor. So y'all just fucked that all up because of Ron. And everybody's pissed, but whatever. But it's just, I can't. So after that, they are all really pissed. And then the traitors find out that they have to do a murder in plain sight. And this is kind of cool. They had to find a card that the secret traitor put a couple cards in and behind a picture. And then they had to burn that card in the fire. And this was hilarious because they were trying to figure out how to get to the card and how to get people out of the kitchen. And Candace suggests a conga line. And let me tell you, that would have been the most suspicious thing ever in life. Like, let's have a conga line. You would have immediately been on my list. I would have immediately honed into you and be like, what is going on? But they do. Rob gets the cards. Super smart. He gets the cards and he's kind of like, I can see it. There's a clip of him saying, I can see it. It's obviously the death card. And I'm like, you know what? People are underestimating you, kid. You got stuff up there. But the short list was Kristen, Tara, Monet, and Rob C. Now, Rob C is smart because Rob C knew that they were he literally is saying, I can't remember who it was. It might have been to Tiffany, but he was literally saying, I feel like they're doing a murder in plain sight. Let's avoid this at all costs. And sadly, he was the one that got murdered. It was really sad. He was too smart for his own good. Other than that, Candace on the show is hilarious. Freaking hilarious. Having everybody in the kitchen again. They're all talking. We're getting into the next episode. Everybody comes in. We find out that Rob C got murdered. But also you start to notice that Jam Jam is starting to make a little bit of enemies. And that makes me really sad. I really thought he was going to be like a big favorite. But he's not. He's starting to make a lot of enemies and it's starting to show. I want Ron out. I want Ron out so bad. I cannot explain this more. I do not understand why he's still on this show. I do not understand why people listen to him, want him gone. So, but they decide that before they get into the mission this time, they're going to have a banishment before it. And if you could see it, is ha 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 ha. Because I'm excited. I'm like, all right, round 2, let's go. Because now you guys got off of Portia. Can we get back on Donna? Because also, I thought that it was Donna. I thought it was Donna from episode 1. I thought the secret traitor was Donna from episode 1. I don't know why. I just did. They all sit down. Oh, there was a comment also that they called Rob Alabama Rob. And I think that that's how we should refer to him from now on. But they sit down. Up on the block that they're talking about is Donna, Michael, and Ron. And Ron playing the victim is just annoying. Give it up. And also Ron's not loyal because he also talks about Donna, even though he's been friends with Donna this whole time. He is not loyal. Them mentioning Michael's name is just, they don't like Michael. Legit, their whole problem with Michael isn't that they think that he's a traitor. It's just that they don't like him. He says what he wants to say. He says how he feels, and they don't like him. But I'm starting to love the friendship that Michael and Tiff are getting because it's really great. But I'm also loving Michael saying, I'm a faithful. And him standing 10 tones down. But him saying, if you're a traitor and you know it, clap your hands. Michael is a hoot. Michael is interesting to watch on TV. And I love this. And then Tiffany trusting him. I stand by all of this. But they finally vote. They vote for Donna, Mama Kelsey, and they were fucking right, which means that if they would have kept it that way last week, Portia would have stayed. And I hope they feel like shit about themselves because they got rid of someone for no freaking reason, because someone had a slip of the tongue. Because that was their reasoning. Oh, she said I, and she said that she thinks that there should be four. And I'm just like, y'all play a terrible game. Y'all cannot play Clue with me. No clue for any of you. We get into mission 3, and mission 3 is that they are going to be broken up into teams of 2, and they had to pick that before they went down, and pick who you feel is going to could protect your life, is what it was said. And they get down there, and there's cages, and one of the 2 has to go in a cage, and the other one of the 2 has to find these skulls in the woods and then come back, 10 skulls, come back and then stack them. And then my questions are like, do they have to be one on top of the other? Can they just be like a pyramid? Can we make a pyramid? I don't know. That definitely ended up not being the one. But Tiffany trusting a big strong man, yes, that's what we do. That's the smart way to be. They run around, and oh my gosh, what is his name? Is it Jason? I don't want, is it Jason? I need a traitors list. This is what I need. I've been telling myself this for a while. Johnny. Johnny is his name. Poor Johnny. Poor Johnny. That man tried. He everybody is stacking their stuff, and this poor man can't even find the rest. Like, this man, by the time the buzzer went, he never gets a stacking. He never find another. No, he found a skull right at the time, and he's running back. It's like, I got it. No, he didn't. So the people who were left in their cages had to spend the night there, and those are the people who were up for being murdered. Okay. Ron was left in his cage. A baby was happy. A baby was like, get him out of here. But then Colton started talking about Tiffany, and I was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Lisa was also stuck in her cage because of Dorinda. I'm trying to think who else was stuck in their cage. Hold on. I have the notes on another note page. The people stuck in their cage, I can tell you, I know for sure. Oh, it was Lisa, Caroline, Kristen, Ron that were out there, and Eric were out there. And they have to walk. They're going to do it. They're going to reveal themselves to the person. And then all of a sudden, who are they going to do? You wait for the next episode, which is how I got to today. Let's just get to today, shall we? Okay. So we're here at today. Today, in our situation, we're having the fashion. I love the fashion. The fashion in episode 4 is beautiful. I love seeing people come down in their beautiful clothes every morning. And I'm like, yes, except for Ron. Ron's not coming down in beautiful clothes. Ron's coming down in a sweater. But the fashion in this show, they should just walk. They should just walk a runway. But we sit at the breakfast table, and one of the first things is Dorinda feeling bad because she couldn't stack them up. And because she couldn't stack them up, that meant Lisa was in the cage. Little did she know, Lisa's a traitor. She's going to be fine. She is going to be okay. But that was interesting. Ron is one of the first to come back again in his sweater, and he starts describing what it was like, what was happening. And, he's like, I heard three feast up. And here's the problem with Ron. The problem with Ron is that he's one of those guys who's right 70-80% of the time, or who's wrong 70-80% of the time, and it's right 20 to 30% of the time. But the problem is that people believe him like he's right all the time. So he was right on this, and it makes people believe him more, but he's wrong on so many things, which is why he just needs to go. He's such a big distraction to this show. And they say that it's Michael because Michael's loud, but reality, it is Ron. Ron is distracting this from this show, and he really needs to go. But he describes it. Then Lisa comes in, and Alabama Rob, and Candace are so nervous because now Lisa's being grilled, and she has to come up with the same descriptions of what happened to her that everybody else is coming up with without hearing it first. And that was quite interesting. She didn't bring any suspicion on her, which I'm very happy for her. She brought some suspicion on Ron, where it should go. Let's get Ron out of there. But Eric has made it back, and that was so exciting having Eric make it back. I was like, yay, Eric. I regretted it later. Then we get Kristen back, and we got Eric back. We got Kristen back. We got Lisa back, obviously. But the person to leave was Caroline. And they were cruel to Caroline when they killed her. She's like, I can't believe this. And Lisa, especially, is just maniacal. She is just going after her, and I was dying laughing. Seeing that made me happy. But then that all finishes. We're all talking about that. We got to get ready for their mission. Tiffany starts talking to people, and she starts mentioning that she thinks that the traitors are Michael, Jam Jam, and Ron. And I don't think that it was smart to mention 3 men as traitors, because I don't think that that's the thing that would happen. Maybe, I don't know. But she's also mentioning that, the original plan next was to get Ron off. And a lot of people agreed on that. The original plan next was to get Ron off. Now, is Ron a traitor? No, he's not. He's annoying. Get him off the show. But then Colton starts switching his game. And I'm going to say this statement, and I don't even know if it's true or not. I don't think it's possible. What if there was a secret traitor? I love a good conspiracy theory, but hear me out. What if there's a secret traitor, and that's Colton? What if another twist was that there was another person that was announced, and it's Colton, and he's the one orchestrating this? Because now all of a sudden Colton jumps on Tiffany, and I'm pissed because it has, again, his reasonings aren't really reasonings other than the fact that she's a strong Black woman and she says what she wants and she's playing a smart game. That's it. That's all. That's the whole thing. And I'm going to get more into that as we get into it. But Colton is just so off, and he's just so strong in his opinions. And sadly, people are going to listen to him more based on the societal status that we have in our life and who we think's word is more honest or true or whatever versus who we don't. It is sad to see. But we get into our mission. The mission is the glorious beast, and they have to go into the woods, and these dolls are going to show them where they can find these arrows. And with these arrows, freaking long ass arrows, they are taking them and they light them on fire and they drive it through the heart of these beasts. There's 10 beasts total. But to drive it through the hearts of these beasts, they have to announce whose name they're going to take a shield away from. Okay. It's real shady. It's so shady. Into the woods they go again, but it's real shady. Also, I was wondering, do they have like a list of clothes that they're supposed to bring? Because everyone was in similar clothes this time. So I was wondering, do they get the clothes themselves? Do they have a list of clothes? What's going on? As it goes, people are going. Somebody stabs the beast and yells Tiffany's name. Tiffany loses her shield. She is pissed, and she is pissed in a way that a Detroiter, a local Metro Detroiter would be. Like, that's one of the reasons why I love watching her on the shows, because I get to see, I talked really fast, because I get to see maybe a little bit of me, and I think I would have responded the same way. Very honest, very raw, very real. Those are things that you get when you come into Metro Detroit. Very honest, very raw, very real. And immediately was, all right, cool. We're getting somebody else. Let's go. Back and forth, it starts getting petty. Michael's getting pissed. Tara's getting pissed. Monet's name is getting dropped. It's starting to get interesting. Them putting a sphere and yelling Mora's name because here, there we go again. Ron's only right 20% of the time. The rest of the time he's wrong. I hear light steps, and they're really light steps. And the lightest person in this is Mora. Lisa is also pretty, but he puts everybody on Mora, and he thinks that it's Mora. So he puts her name through the shield because what? Anyways, Michael gets pissed because Michael's name gets thrown in. So he decides to do Tara. And it's funny because he says, I love you, but now I gotta spear you. Hilarious. Then he continues to yell her name. Tara King Hall. We can never kick this man off of TV. This man needs to have his own reality TV show And we just have to accept him like we accept Eminem. He's gonna be kind of problematic, but that's just the way it is. It was really cute though when Rob was carrying Maura because she was getting tired. I love it. I love it. Their friendship is really cute. And Mark finally showing up and making comments and starting to show us that he has a personality. Yes. Yes. I love that. I didn't love Colton. I didn't love Colton. I didn't love his game, all of it. But the people who were left without a shield was Ron, Tiffany, Monet, Michael, Tara, Steven, Lisa, Mora, Johnny, and Jam Jam. Get Ron out. Hashtag get Ron out. And then Candace says that. She said, we want Ron out. But it'd be easier if they voted him out and thought that he was a traitor than if we had to take him out. Hashtag get Ron out. But of course, you have Colton, and Colton is a problem starter. Here we go. So we sit down, and Colton immediately jumps on Tiffany. And this is where I'm going to start. This is where I'm going to start to make it political. And you guys can say whatever the fuck you want about me. You can like this, you cannot like this, whatever. But the way that he came for Tiffany was disrespectful. And it truly reminded me of people who have issues with Black women. And that is racism. That's racism and sexism. There's clearly an issue that Colton has with Tiffany. It's quite apparent. I don't know what it is other than the fact that he feels threatened by her and that she's a strong Black woman. And a strong Black woman is always going to be a threat. And I don't understand why, as society, we are so afraid of a strong Black woman, other than the fact that we think they're going to usurp us. We think that they are actually, in fact, better than us. So what we do is find ways to bring them down. And watching a white man come for a Black woman that way was triggering. And I stand by this statement. I think he should be canceled for the way that he did that. I think he should be canceled. I think that there's no way. There's no way, and I'm going to cry. Having to see that on TV is wild. I've experienced it in my life. I've experienced it in my life as a Black woman and being a strong Black woman and people feeling like I'm threat or people not liking me because I'm a little bit different or I don't speak or talk the exact way that I wanted to, and white men being uncomfortable and my Black womanness. I've experienced that, and having to watch that on a TV show was fucking hard. And nobody should have to go through that. Tiffany should not have had to go through that. And everybody just trying to like attack her after that was just weird. And then Eric saying, I heard steps and I heard laughing and it was Tiffany. That was so strange because Tiffany really, I haven't really heard Tiffany laughing from what they shown us a lot. So how can you be sure from a laughter? How can you be sure? And Eric was, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to keep quiet. And then all of a sudden, I'm not going to keep quiet. And they just start ganging up on her. And when, I love her. I love her for standing on business. I love her for clocking Jam Jam and being like, put my motherfucking name down. If you're going to mention my fucking name, put that bitch down. If you want me gone, I'm going to be gone regardless. And I love how Candace defended her. I love how Candace had her back. Is it sad that one of the only people other than Michael has always been invited to the motherfucking cookout, and I've said that so many times, and I mean that now. Michael's always been there to invited to the motherfucking cookout because one of the only two people that stood up for her was a Black woman and Michael. Let that be clear. There we go. I knew it. That is because Michael Rappaport's wife is Black. So he understands. Michael Rappaport's wife is Black. He understands. He understands the way that society treats Black women. He understands the way that society looks at Black women. He gets it. There was the only two people that came and defended her. Eric throwing her on the bus made me mad. But then to watch her cry and say, hey guys, I really need this. I really do. I need the money. I'm a single mom. That was just it was so heartbreaking. And people are crying while she's saying that. And still they voted for her to get off. And that was, I don't think that will ever be okay. I'm not going to, because I promised you guys I was going to watch the show through completion. But I literally just didn't want to. I didn't want to do it anymore. at all. Why? What's the point? It was a lot. And the fact that Eric was remorseful after, but Colton was not remorseful says everything that I needed to say. It says everything that I needed to say, and I've been saying at the beginning of this episode. There's underlying racism that goes on with Colton, and there are things that he has, and he feels really uncomfortable with a strong Black woman. He would like a woman more like Portia. I'm not saying that she's not strong or Candace is not strong. They are both very strong. But Tiffany is who she is. You either like it or you don't. And that made him uncomfortable. And now he wants to come for somebody else. He's a fucking problem. He's like on a bigger scale personality, he's a fucking problem. And him being on TV, being this fucking problem, I can't. It's the whole like Sydney Sweeney thing again. Like you forgive anybody with blonde hair and blue eyes. No, it 100% shows entitlement and that you think that certain specific genetics of people are better than others. And I want to tell you the same way that Tiffany went out, because Tiffany went out with a motherfucking bang. And what she said, key, everything. I hope everyone feels that because they did not deserve her. We've been saying this all since 2025. Y'all don't deserve Black women because every time a strong Black woman comes in to help you, you vote her out. Look what y'all did. Y'all voted her out. Y'all didn't deserve her. Y'all don't. And I stand by that. And I hope that all of those people that cried their tears and felt for Tiffany and voted her off will do whatever the fuck it takes to make sure that she's making bank. We'll do whatever it takes to make sure that she gets brand deals and everything like that because she deserves that. Y'all betrayed her like y'all did Portia. Some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't, and those two didn't make sense. And y'all came into it saying, oh, we're not going to do it like we did Portia. And guess what y'all did? Y'all did exactly that. Y'all had a plan and y'all uprooted y'all plan for no. So I'm not watching the second episode. I'll watch it on a different day. I'm too emotional. I'm too pissed. And I want my focus to be on Tiffany. I think that's where it should be, and I think that's where it deserves to be. And you know what? It is what it is. We're gonna close on that. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will be back next week covering 3 episodes of Traitors again. So you're gonna get another long one, but I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you all. Talk to you next time.
Pure Tifa Podcast.